Okay, we're on to another episode.
Wow.
Boy, you thought you were going to stand up and stretch yourself out, weren't you?
No, no.
This one's going to be a little bit shorter. Spike,
Chris.
show. We're doing our third episode. It's December 20th, 2020. Okay, we're coming up on Christmas. We want to get this done. We want to get this out because it's been a slow week. We got a bunch of other stuff on our plate. We need to get moving on. But this episode, last episode, we spoiled the last episode of The Mandalorian for everybody.
Ooh, yeah.
And spoiler alert, Luke's back. Anyway, this episode we're going to be talking about Abigail Disney. Now, for those of you who don't know, okay, Disney, how do I put this politely? How do I put it delicately? Disney Corporation has always eaten a bag of dicks, okay? Always. Always. And I mean way back before Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs level, Walt Disney was a braying jackass who took credit for a lot of other people's work. If you don't know if you don't believe me, look up the name Carl Barks, and that will tell you everything you need to know about Walt Disney does to his creative staff, and they maintain that glorious tradition right up to today. Anyway, Abigail Disney. She is, I believe, if I recall correctly, the granddaughter of Roy Disney, who is Walt Disney's brother. Roy was the one who kept the business going after Walt died decades ago. Roy was the one, basically, he was the one who kept things going, make sure the bills were paid and stuff, and then his son took over for a while. So Abigail Disney is like Roy's son's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, she is a direct relation to the Disney family, and she still has her fingers involved in the corporation. Here is what Abigail Disney is basically saying, is that Disney is about to implode. They are about to collapse on themselves and sink into basically a financial mire, because right now there are a bunch of Disney executives who are racking up huge performance bonuses. And nobody knows why, because Disney's been sucking wind all year, right?
Right.
Because the parks are closed, theaters are closed. Disney Plus is the only thing they got going right now. They still own ABC. ABC's like third or fourth place week after week. They now own Star Wars, and Star Wars has been steered straight into the ditch. They own Marvel. Marvel hasn't done anything, essentially, since the last Avengers movie. So, Black Widow, we still don't know when Black Widow, I think it's supposed to be coming out in the spring. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
What Abigail Disney is saying is that the current administration at Disney is incompetent. They don't know how to encourage the development of new intellectual properties. All they do is go out and buy other people's intellectual properties. Again, like they did with Star Wars, like they did with Marvel, like they did with all these other things they've acquired, Pixar, all the other things they've acquired over the years, and then the last creative guy they had in an executive role over there was John Lasseter, and he got chased off because Me Too. John Lasseter, I seriously doubt John Lasseter did anything to anybody, but hey, that's not the focus of this thing. The focus of this video is that Abigail Disney is saying everybody is, the poo's about to hit the fan over at the House of Mouse. Basically, probably within the next 6 months, you're going to see an awful lot of bloodletting, because all these executives are getting bonuses. They're getting performance bonuses. One guy got $11 million as a performance bonus. Not on a salary, as a performance bonus. $11 million. Wow. And all these Disney staffers have been let go without pay.
Wow.
All these Disney staffers are now depending on food banks to eat at night. They're depending on governors not allowing landlords to kick people who can't pay their rent out of apartments in order to at least have shelter. All these Disney staffers are struggling just to make ends meet, and their top executives are going home with 8-digit bonuses. And that's why Abigail Disney is saying this is gross incompetence. To the point that she's basically saying this is your last chance to start cleaning house at Disney and straighten things up in order to save the studio.
Mm.
The way she's talking right now, and I'm just paraphrasing here, if Disney continues down the path they're on, there will not be a Disney a couple of years from now. They will disappear and will be down to, like, I think it's 4 or 5 major studios now. Disney will cease to exist, and they'll have to do a fire sale just to settle everything.
Wow.
So, as I was saying earlier, the corruption goes all the way back to Walt Disney himself, because he would sign his name on everything. He was the brand, that's the way he put it, but never recognized any of his creators. You never saw credits on most of the, for like animators and stuff, with most of the Disney products, because Warner Brothers did it. Even on their Looney Tunes and stuff, their little 7-minute short subjects, they would at least show you who the animators were. You didn't get to see the ink and paint department and all this other stuff, but they did know. You knew who directed that thing. It wasn't Walt Disney. It was either Chuck Jones or Friz Freleng or Tex Avery or Robert Clampett. All those guys became name brands because Warner let people know this was who was responsible for it. At Disney, they never did that.
Wow.
It was all about Disney, always been about Disney, right down to the comic books, because I mentioned Carl Barks earlier. Carl Barks was the guy who created Uncle Scrooge. He was the guy who popularized Donald Duck. He was the guy who created Duckburg. All of DuckTales is based on Carl Barks. For that matter, all of Darkwing Duck was derived from DuckTales, which was created by Carl Barks. Gizmo Duck, the entire Disney Afternoon, for that matter, based on the works of Carl Barks, because it was DuckTales that paid the bills so they could develop everything else. Disney's always been really good at this, but now with all this crap that's going on right now, all the shitstorm of financial stuff, if Disney cannot get rid of the cancer in their executive suites, Disney could cease to exist within the next couple of years, because the money will just completely run out and they'll have no other way to hide the bodies anymore. So how you doing?
Well, that's a lot to take in, but honestly, it's not a surprise. I mean, yeah, they were buying a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they were dropping billions on things.
Yeah, they bought Fox. They bought Marvel. They were just doing all kinds of things.
They bought Pixar, they bought all these things. And that's the other thing. They were throwing their parks division, okay, Disney World, Disneyland, all these other Disney things. They were throwing off money, hand over fist. They were piling cash up. They're piling cash up at the rate that Apple was doing it, that Google was doing it, that Amazon was doing it. Just piles of stacks of cash everywhere, because they weren't spending it on things. They were letting it pile up so that it would look good on their accounts to Wall Street.
What exactly does Disney actually own? I mean, I know they got Fox and stuff and all that, but what else do they got? Like, do they own Sega?
No, they don't own Sega. No, Disney owns, okay, real quick, anything with the Disney name on it, of course. They own ABC. They got that back in the 80s. They own Touchstone, which used to be a thing. That was one that was the grown-up Disney studio that they just threw away because Disney 18 Plus is going to be a thing, apparently. They own, I'm trying to think, they own several cable channels. Anything with the Disney name, but Freeform, which used to be ABC Family, which used to be Fox Family, which used to be the Family Channel, which used to be CBN 24/7. Yeah, there's a story we need to do, and we've got not a lot of stuff to talk about. But Disney itself, aside from the rat and the duck and all the dogs and everything else, that's mainly what they actually own.
I mean, we have talked about this a lot before, not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, there's something up, because who's making these stupid decisions on just redoing the same movies
Mhm.
and releasing them.
Yeah.
What else was it that they did that we were like, why you know,
Hey,
somebody's making, like, they were making some really stupid decisions to where we were like,
I got a question.
who's
for you.
running
Okay.
Disney now?
Bob Iger, okay, is the one that you need to yell at because he was the bean counter who wound up in charge. Bob Iger, I can't remember where he came from, but it was not from a Hollywood or wasn't from a media thing. It was. I'm lying if I say it was Pizza Hut, but it was from some kind of goofball outside thing.
Yeah.
I got a question that'll make you stop and think. You're asking, where did all this start? Remember Tron Legacy?
Yeah.
Remember that one? Now, they had done a second Tron film out of nowhere. No, I mean, nobody saw it coming. They were like, wait, there's another Tron film? Disney was trying to build up, they wanted another franchise, okay? They've got all the Pixar franchises. They wanted to have their own franchises, so they figured, you know, Disney Princesses, we own Tron, you know, we'll do Tron, we'll do that as like our sci-fi franchise, and we'll make money off of that. And because we own it, we'll get to keep all of it, see? So they made the second Tron film. They made Tron Legacy, which was the TV series.
Yeah.
They made all this. They were getting ready to do a third Tron film. They were really ready to just blow Tron out like Star Trek exploded out, like Star Wars exploded out. They were just going to explode the Tron idea.
Yeah.
And then Lucas came up for sale, and they bought Lucasfilm instead, and they got all the Star Wars stuff.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. They got all that stuff. So they had intellectual property in-house that they controlled 100%. They owned lock, stock, and barrel. But hey, here's Star Wars. Let's just go ahead and buy it, and then we can just start making all these films, and we'll make our money back.
See, that's something else that I think they really made a mistake on, was that they waste their money not just on remaking classics and turn them into live action movies, which should have never been done whatsoever. Just saying, shouldn't have been done. They're wasting their money on all these. I mean, well, you saw the list of all the Star Wars and all the Marvel stuff that they got going on. They wasted their money on Disney Plus. Hear me out, okay? I said this a bunch of times. When Disney Plus was going to be a thing, they told us what was going to be on it. People were really excited. They launched it, and guess what? None of those shows that they said was going to be on there was on there. Except Mandalorian is the only thing that actually saved it from the beginning, okay?
And who's responsible for the success of The Mandalorian?
Star Wars fans.
Well, yeah, but Jon Favreau was the one
Yeah.
who birthed that baby, not the Disney execs. It
Well,
was
yeah,
Jon
yeah.
Favreau.
But here we are, a year now since it launched, and we still haven't gotten all those Marvel shows that they promised us before they even launched the Disney Plus. I mean, we saw clips from WandaVision a year and a half ago. Literally. We thought that they were done with it. Why wasn't that already on Disney Plus?
Because, again, gross incompetence. There's your problem.
Just saying. Like, all these properties were supposed to be on there, they haven't, and here we are, and now they're just now saying, oh yeah, these are actually coming. And that's something else they don't do. They don't tell you the dates because they don't know. Why don't they know the dates?
Again, incompetence. That's what Abigail Disney is saying, bringing it back to her so we can wrap this. That's what Abigail Disney is saying. They don't know what they're doing over there. They have all this potential now in-house, and they don't know how to use it. So they go out there and they buy other franchises and stuff so they could go ahead and exploit them for quick cash. And then I think they compared it to like a salami where they're cutting it thinner and thinner because they don't know how to make the salami anymore. So they have to make this one thing last for as long as it can. So they're slicing thinner and thinner and thinner until it's all gone. Then you've got burnt ground. How do you go from there?
I mean, you got the phase 4 of the Marvel movies.
The MCU that they're
Which
talking about.
I'm sorry, I don't see it's going to go anywhere because one, I know we're doing the pandemic thing, but nobody has talked about what's coming. We know Spider-Man is still going to be there, but that's pretty much all we do know. But I mean, it's like you got rid of your biggest attractions. You got rid of Captain America, Iron Man, Thor,
Hulk.
I mean, you got rid of all them, and you're starting with a new batch. But it's like, what is this new batch? We know Captain Marvel, which I'm sorry does not exist to me. The Spider-Man and Spider-Man, you're literally copying Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. You're literally copying that because that did so good. You're trying to do it with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I will admit, people will watch it, and it will become big because everybody wants to see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and
that kid, the new one.
yeah, the new one, all together, and all the villains and all that stuff. So it's going to make money, but you're stealing, basically. You're stealing other people's ideas because they were big.
I just wonder where we're going to see, because from what I understand, I don't know whether Sam Raimi's attached or not. As long as Bruce Campbell's in the new Spider-Man thing, that's all I care about. But anyway.
No, you won't.
But anyway, for me, I think it's just a matter of seeing this coming for a while. I honestly thought they were still sitting on piles of cash. They burned through all of it to acquire these things, and now they're using the last of it to pay their executives bonuses because they know they're going to be going out the door shortly. So it's going to get pretty fugly over at Disney for a while. So keep an eye on that, guys. Hopefully it doesn't affect the output very much, but it will.
Yeah.
Sorry, but so we'll wish Disney all the best. Hopefully Abigail doesn't wind up and tied to a railroad track with a stick of cartoon dynamite in her mouth.
After speaking out about this?
After speaking out. Because Disney treats their whistleblowers very, very well. Look that up. So, any last thoughts on this one, Chris, before we get back to your... We got one more video to do after this where we do a list of movies, supposedly good things that came out in 2020 in the next episode. But I just took his list, ripped it up, and threw it in the trash, so I don't know what... Any last thoughts as far as Disney self-destruction, Chris?
No, just good luck. That's all I got to say. Just good luck.
Rots are rock, one and all. There it is. So we'll see you next time. Till next time, Spike, Chris, show. Take care, y'all.